I remember I would post like a session for feedback from the coaches, and I would constantly check my phone, like obsessed about like getting the feedback from the coaches, because I want to kind of hear what they have and see what I've done really well, because I love that it's constructive, right? So it's not just like, oh, you're doing, really well, but there's always something in there that is constructive to kind of keep in mind for the next shoot.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Pretty Focus podcast. We are here with a grad spotlight interview with Malak, and what is really, really cool about her is that she is from Egypt, Cairo, Egypt. And so we're going to hear all about her experience, going through Pretty Focus and graduating, being somebody in another country, because we do have people from all over the world ask about, joining Pretty Focus and what it would be like and some things to be aware of. And so we're going to hear her experience and what her whole journey has been. So we are so excited to have you today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so, we were just chatting a few minutes before I hit that record button, and I'm so excited for everybody to hear your story and what your experience has been like. So why don't you kind of go back to the beginning and talk about when you first joined Pretty Focused?
So I honestly can't remember how I learned about Pretty Focused, but it was really interesting because I was like, I am also a photographer. So, I remember emailing you actually and asking, do I really have to do this like the way you have laid out? And to be honest, now I understand why. And of course, the answer was yes, right?
Yeah.
But now I understand the amount of, support and the way the course has been, the staggering and everything makes sense now to me. So that's how it started. I think I remember going into the foundations. I was like, I know that stuff. But honestly, it made sense. Now it makes a lot of sense to me.
So did you learn anything? I mean, being a photographer and then going into foundations, where you're like, oh, why do I have to do this? Or was there anything that you learned? You just like, I'm just going to go through the motions. I'm just going to go through the process. What was it like? Be honest. Tell us.
It was really interesting because going back to the basics as well, like it was interesting because I was like, yeah, I actually did learn a few things because it was really nicely done. How the lessons were kind of building on each other, Lightroom, like all of that stuff. I did learn a few things. Yes.
Good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So what was it that made you want to join? I mean, you're already a photographer. Why would you want to join another course?
To be honest, it was different than I've taken a few courses, but this, Pretty Focused is completely different than the ones that I've taken because, again, it's the way it's structured. The support that you get from the coaches and how you graduate and then you go through your portfolio and it's completely different. I don't think there's anything like this anywhere else. And it's, when you graduate, also the grad group, the buyers club, these are all really important and helpful tools.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's not, we say, food blog photography course, or the Pretty Focused course, but it's really so much more than that. Like that's just one piece.
I agree.
That's just one piece. And so it's not just a course that you're getting. It's coaching and it's access to clients, potential clients when you graduate. And so when you look at the whole program, right, it all makes sense whenever you look at the whole thing. So you can't just look at it just as a course, like you said, because you can go take a course anywhere. There's some really talented creators out there. So you can
Yes.
go learn anywhere. I mean, you can get a bunch of stuff for free, but it's whenever you look at the whole program and what it includes, like now that you're on the other side, you're telling me, you're like, it makes sense. I get it.
And to be honest, like I look at some of my practices from like module 1 and 2, and I'm like, I look at them and I'm like, what was I thinking? I think it was maybe, yes, the basics, the lighting, a little bit of this, but how everything comes together at the end. If you look at my first few practices and then my portfolio, like night and day.
Oh my goodness. I was just looking at your module 3 and then your portfolio. And I was like, I was just blown out of the water. So good.
But to be honest, it's also the coaches. Like it's support from the group. It's the other members that, I mean, I've had wonderful experiences, like not only on the group, but even like in the DMs. Like I remember I asked a question in the grads group about like how to put things together. And I've had so many people not only reply on the group, but reach out in my DMs, and we've built great relationships, and the support is amazing.
That is what I want to hear. I love that. I love that so much. I think community is so important. I don't think you can do life alone. Yes. I don't think that you can do business alone, especially something so unique as what we do. Like working for food bloggers, I still get people look at me like, but that's a thing. And I'm like, yeah,
it is.
It sure is a thing, like, let me just like outline it for you. So that's so great that you've been able to get and have that experience, like not just in the course, but business as well. I think that maybe is kind of what intimidates people on the other side is, we say like, you're not just a grad, like you don't just wear the title of grad whenever you graduate, but you actually are stepping into a whole other role as business owner. Like you go from student to grad to business owner. And we offer that support. So a lot of people feel like, I don't know what to expect on the other side. Like once I graduate, then what? So you've graduated, then what? Tell us, I know you talked about like DMs and stuff. Do you feel like you've been set up well for the business side of things?
I think yes, but things also are different here. So like the setting up, like, the bank or payments and, it's because it's different. That side of the business kind of was a little bit, I mean, it's not impossible. It just took more time to navigate because then I had to check like with banks here and that kind of stuff. But it's happening. So I mean, I'm very happy.
So look at you. Yeah, I mean, so you have like the practical things, and that's different, and so that's something to be aware of if you are not in in America. If we've got students in Canada, in Europe, in Asia, in Australia. And so those are things to be aware of, that the business side of things. And honestly, it matters depending on what state you live in here too.
Oh, okay.
So like from, Arizona to California, Washington, Oklahoma, all of the states have different rules around LLCs and sole proprietors. They cost, different amounts. Some people, it doesn't make sense to get an LLC because it costs so much. So, there's just those things that just vary from state to state here. That's why we recommend we recommend our CPA because he works with people in all 50 states. Unfortunately, he doesn't work with anybody in Egypt, I don't think. But, he kind of helps get people set up for success, on that side, because there's just so many nuances. But what about so like there's the practical business things, but what about just that role as business owner? Because there's like the practical, but there's also the emotional.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's different. You know what I mean? So do you feel like you have that support, that that emotional support that you need as a
Yes, and
business
to be
owner?
honest, it also feels like it's even sometimes now difficult. Not, I mean, not difficult, but it feels kind of funny to say, oh, I do have a 9 to 5, but I also have my photography business.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, oh, I'm excited about that. And at the same time, it's just getting into that role feels so different, right? Managing your like rates and contracts and it's a curve, right? And
Mhm.
and again, the grads on the group were super helpful with that, information, sharing what works for them, what doesn't work. And again, I feel like this kind of stuff is, some of the stuff is kind of pertains to everyone, but then some of the other stuff, it depends on, again, where you live, what makes more sense to you, how, the payment terms, like all of that kind of stuff. And actually also who you're working with, right? Because someone might want to pay up front, or someone
Mhm.
wants to, pay 50%. It just, all of that business stuff comes down to your relationship with your blogger, and, the people you work with, and you, and the
Yeah.
country you live in. So it is a curve. A
Yeah.
learning curve. There's a
Yeah,
learning
for
curve.
sure. It is. It is. And so I'm glad you've been able to get that support. So what is, you're going through, you're going through the course, you're in Egypt. Tell me about the ingredients. Do you have access to the same ingredients? Because this is the thing. This is really the differentiator, is the ingredients, because a lot of our bloggers in the Buyers Club, they are all typically from America.
Mhm.
We have some Canadians. I do think we might have some people in the UK or Europe. But how are the ingredients?
Okay, so I think it is about clarity, and about like talking to the blogger you're working with up front, and being, um, because I did have a situation, looking for an ingredient that wasn't available here. But when I did my research before I took on the project, I found it online. So I, ordered it, only to find out that the website was online, but they stopped working like 3 months ago. So again, I went back to the blogger, and I apologized for it. But again, I think, so if you're doing, I think, sponsored posts for the blogger, I think that might be a little bit of an issue, because, again, it depends on where you live, but shipping certain products might be difficult. But other things would work. So I feel like it's a conversation that you should have with the blogger you're working with, to, make sure that the ingredients are available where you're at.
Yeah. What about, like, I've heard like butter is different from like here, America, to Europe. I assume you're more closer to the European style butter than the American butter. And then, like cream cheese is different. And boy, do we love our butter and cream cheese here in America.
Yeah.
I would say those are probably the biggest differences.
I think they are, but again, there's a lot of imported stuff here.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in Egypt. So it is available. Some of the brands that I, see in the US are available here in Egypt. The colors are similar. Maybe our butter is a little yellower than the US, but I think it wouldn't make it would make a difference in the ingredients picture that process shots maybe, but again, some of the stuff is available here, so it is easy to sometimes navigate that situation.
Okay, so that's good, because so it sounds like ingredients other than that one situation have been not really a problem. I mean, from the from the look of your portfolio, it does not look like ingredients are an issue. You know, I mean, because the things that you're doing are just so that's great to hear.
Yes, they're not. It's just, very specific things that are not available here, and sometimes difficult to find.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're working with a client who is aware, and is just willing to work with you on that, which is great, which is, I mean, a testament to your work, right? Because your work is absolutely stunning. And so if I don't blame that blogger being like, I'll be able to make any allowances, whatever, with ingredients, just because your work is so beautiful. Like I'm like, guys, we'll have her portfolio posted in the show notes just so you can see it, because it's just stunning. There's just no other way to describe it. It's just so great. So what now then was your experience, going through the course? What was your overall experience?
To be honest, my overall experience was really amazing. Okay. From the day I signed up. And I remember I didn't sign up right away. I did I think it was called it's a tier 1, the one that had the camera foundations, I guess. And then I signed up for the rest of the program. Again, the support from the coaches, asking about like, what does your setting look like even to the tiniest, where is your light coming from, like all that kind of stuff is the support from the coaches. I remember I would post like a session for feedback from the coaches, and I would constantly check my phone, like obsessed about like getting the feedback from the coaches, because I want to kind of hear what they have and see what I've done really well, because I love that it's constructive, right? So it's not just like, oh, you're doing, really well, but there's always something in there that is constructive to kind of keep in mind for the next shoot, for the next recipe. So again, like, you're doing really well in this and this and this, let's look at this for next shoot. So it's amazing.
Yeah. It's the whole package, because the course is learning, but learning is only going to take you so far. You can learn all day long, but if you are not taking action on what you're learning, right, that's where you start to learn. I mean, that's truly where you start to grow, is by putting into action the things that you're learning. And that's what our coaches do. And so not only that, but they're also helping you now go to the next level and to the next level. And, I've heard, students be like, oh man, the coaches, gave me this feedback. And I was like, or they say, like, oh, I should have seen that. I should have known that. And it's like, no, that's the whole point.
Yes.
That's the whole point, is our coaches are there to help you. Okay, now let's take it one step further. Now let's take it one step further. Now let's go one step further. And honestly, there's just so many things to learn about food photography, right? And so you're all along the way, you're learning those tips and tricks from our coaches who are still working in the industry, right? Who know all of the tips and tricks and how to do this and how to do that. And so you're just continuing to learn from them, as you go through the whole program.
I agree, because the easiest thing is to say, oh, you're doing a wonderful job, right? You're doing so well, and then leave it at that. But that's not how one learns, right? So, and again, like, I would shoot with whatever comments I've had from the previous practice shoot, and that would bring things together, right? So if my lighting is a little brighter and my composition is this and that, so it kind of ties it together.
Yeah. And I mean, coaching is part of the program. Coaching is part of what you pay for. And so if you're investing in it, are you investing in somebody to give you a pat on the back and send you along the way? When you get to the end, you're going to be like, why didn't you tell me? Like, why didn't you tell me my photos were blue? why didn't you tell me this? Like, this is what I'm here for. And so that's what our coaches are like, take people's investment seriously. You are here. Part of your investment is coaching, and we're going to coach you. That's part of the program. That's part of it.
I agree. And again, I look at my practice shoots from module 3 and, and I see all the comments all the way to portfolio, like.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have grown so much. I mean, you can tell that you came in with photography experience, because I mean, your module 3 homework was great. And so, and then seeing the growth at the end, it's like, wow, look at that. Look at what the coaching and all of the feedback produces, but look at all of the hard work that you've put in, right? Is because you received that feedback and you kept growing from it. And so that can be hard to do, but you did it, and like, it paid off. It's really paid off. So you are working a 9-to-5 job. What are you doing?
I'm a school counselor, middle school counselor.
Oh, bless you.
Yes.
Oh, bless you. Okay. I mean, I've got a 6th grader moving. I've got a 5th and 6th grader. So we're heading right there. So you're doing that full time. You are doing food photography part time. What's your goal with food photography? What do you want to do with it? I
would love to have this as my 9-to-5.
Yeah.
Getting to own, the business, grow it, nourish it, just make it my full-time job.
Yeah.
So I'm building to get there.
I love that. So what steps are you taking to get there?
So I'm building the relationships with the food bloggers on the group, right? And talking to people, and with the grads also, asking what's working, what's not, how things are changing, and just learning from everyone's experience, because everyone's experience is different, and just gradually working up to that.
Yeah. So you graduated into February, right?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. So how is it going so far in building those relationships and getting clients, and like, how is it going?
It's going really well. So I'm working with a food blogger, and I love the pace that I'm working at, because it's doing that. I'm building the business, but at the same time, it's not too much for it to be too stressful. So it's at a good pace.
Good, because I mean, you do have a 9-to-5 right now. And so like you are wanting to slowly build, like it sounds like, anyway, I know we have people who are like, want to build and scale fast, but you are happy with that pace of kind of going a little bit slower. Do you have like a timeline of when you want to be able to leave your other job?
The sooner the better, but realistically, I think, because one of my boys is still at school, so I feel like, once he graduates from school, I'll kind of hopefully have my business up and running.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. So were there any challenges you had getting clients?
I think imposter syndrome. That's it's, I think, a thing, because I, would doubt myself, and especially at the beginning, where like, is my stuff good enough? Am I going to get any clients? Am I doing the right thing? So that was one of the challenges for me. But I think once I got past that, I mean, one still questions themselves, but
right? Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long did it take you to connect with clients?
I would say maybe 4, 5 weeks.
Okay. Okay. So during that like limbo time it's probably whenever you're second guessing yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're like, what's happening? And I saw you were posting in there, once a week. So did you try like different strategies for posting? I mean, you mixed up your photos. Like what kind of different strategies did you try?
Yes, I mixed up my photos, trying to showcase like a variety of um, um, photos that I basically showing my skill,
Mhm.
and just you know um, opening the floor for connections with bloggers, right?
Mhm.
Just posting and putting myself out there.
Yeah. And so I would continue to do that. I might even do, a couple of times a week. We have an extremely active group. There's a
Yes.
lot of stuff going through there. And so I would not be afraid to go a couple of times a week. So you can definitely ramp that up. And I loved, the shots that I saw that had the most, of your work in the Buyers Club that had like the most interactions were like the close up ones.
Yes.
I think was there something with pecans? Yes.
Yes.
That one, like the close up of the pecans and how it glistened, like that grabbed people's attention for sure. The pancakes, I'm looking at it right now. The cake, the fish cake. What in the like? It's adorable. Like it's an ocean. You got fish. Like what kind of cake is this? Tell me about this cake.
It's a vegan vanilla cake with vegan buttercream.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's so good. Like so that post like had a lot of traction and had a lot of reach. And so I would just like those macro shots and then anything like with an action, like the sauce drizzle over the was it orange chicken? Is that what it was?
A
Or
ginger,
a
yeah,
ginger
the
chicken?
chicken.
Yeah, oh there it is.
Yeah.
Like anything with action that you can put like in the first like foremost because Facebook collages the photos and so that first photo that you post is so important.
Yeah.
It's gotta be like and like all of your photos are beautiful, but it's like the yummy drama, like the drip shots and like the little actions. And I think like the cake was just so striking too, because it was adorable and it was absolutely perfect. But you also like were going in for the scoop too. And
Yes.
so whenever you can bring attention to an action, I think that you're going to get like some better traction there. But I love seeing all of the photos that you posted, individually versus a collage, because so clients can actually click in to see the photos and to see the clarity on everything they really appreciate being able to do that. So I like that.
Thank
You
you.
definitely have some attention grabbers. So I'd for sure like don't feel, shy. That's the other thing too. You're like, am I posting too much? Am I posting
Yes.
not enough? And so I think you can go through it like twice a week, I would say.
Okay.
Be good. So I would keep going, keep posting. Like you got your one client. Now let's keep building up your clientele so you can keep working towards your goal
Yes. Yes.
of working from home.
Yes.
So, okay. So as we kind of wrap up here, I want to talk about some challenges. Like we talk about the great things and we talk about, you're able to connect with clients and you had a really great experience, but what were some of the challenges that you faced going through maybe the course or, post-graduation?
To be honest, I think maybe it's just me. But I think having that, time frame to kind of do it at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I mean, it's a really good thing, but at the same time, for me, sometimes I would just like let it go for too long. So that was a bit of a challenge, kind of like, getting back into the groove. But I think that for me, that was one of the challenges. I think the ingredients, again, that I think that was or is one of the challenges. The business, again, because it's Egypt, the business side of putting things together. But I think that's kind of it, because to be honest, like, the way things are set up in the course and everything is just, it makes sense and it's staggered. So I don't feel like it was a challenge in any sense that,
Okay.
and especially again, with the support of the coaches and everything, it was pretty awesome.
Good. I just put a poll out in our roadmap and I was like, what do you need to know, like, before moving forward? And a lot of people said, and this was actually very surprising to me, but you hit on it just a second ago. A lot of people said, like, time, like, how am I going to fit this into my schedule? How am I going to do this? And so, talking about time, you're working a 9 to 5.
Yes.
And so now a difference now whenever people enroll is they have 12 months coaching. And so we're limiting the coaching because people take the time that you give them and they spread it out. And it's like, we want you to get there. Right. And so giving it 12 months, we've got like a plan for people to follow so they can go through and get this done, within a year. I mean, it can take 6 months, and 6 months is included, but we give 12 months of coaching just because we know life can happen sometimes. But anyway, how did you fit this in? You're working full time. You're a mom. How do you fit this into your life?
To be honest, I loved it so much that I was like super excited sometimes. I mean, all the times to come back from work, but I would also plan ahead, right? So I wouldn't go shop for ingredients, hero hack, shoot all in one day, because it'll take time.
Yeah.
So I would kind of break it down, do things, stagger them so that, one day I'd hero hack and then I know what I want to shoot, and then shop for ingredients. So it's kind of, and I would do a lot over the weekend too.
Okay. Yeah. Weekend. And I think that you nailed it on the head. I think whenever you said, I just loved it so much,
Yes.
Because this isn't a hobby. Like, it can be for some, maybe it's for some people, maybe but this is, it's like, it's a career. So it's also, you have to look like, how bad do you want it?
Yes.
I think that's the thing that we have to ask for anything that we try, whether it's a new fitness plan or it's a new career, right? You just have to ask, like, how bad do I want this? Right.
To be honest, like, this brings happiness to me, like to my heart, just,
I love that.
Having that space, having that process, working through, the shoot and writing everything down and counting the ingredients and, all of that just makes my heart so happy. And then clicking that button and, and seeing that picture come to life on your computer, to be honest, like that brings joy to my heart. And when I hero hacker, I always like draw little sketches of like how I want the picture to look, and then after I'm done and I compare and I see, that sketch actually really did come to life. So and that makes me really happy.
That's awesome. I mean, has there been, you're an educator, you're a teacher, right? So you do that because you love it, and so has there ever been anything that has brought you like this much joy, something that you do?
Working with children, working with students, to be honest. But photography has always been like that extra, like, it just makes me happy, like just being in that space and headset and, and I started off, well, I got into photography because I wanted to take pictures of my own kids, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
I wanted to freeze that moment. But then, they wouldn't stay still. And then I transitioned to food photography because the food stayed still on the table, and you put it wherever you put it, it just stays there. So yeah. So, and that again, putting things where they're supposed to go and having them stay there until you take the picture is great joy.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like being a teacher, it brings you great joy. I know I've been there. I was a second grade teacher. It brings you so much joy, but there's something about like the creative field that you created something, that you brought something to life that just kind of hits different.
Yes, I agree.
So I love that. I love it so much. So do you have any advice for students who are going through the course right now, going through coaching, because there's always some highs, there's lows, life happens, things might feel hard, things might feel great. What advice do you have for them?
To be honest, just lean on the people that are in the group with you. Like, just ask questions and, build those relationships with, fellow colleagues. And to be honest, it's a great community. And I'm enjoying the community a lot. Let me put it that way. I'm enjoying, and especially you would see it in the grads posts, when you post that people have graduated and you see the number of people that are saying congratulations and the number of likes, and it really shows how everyone is happy, truly genuinely happy to be part of this group, and how people are cheering each other on. And we're doing the same thing, but it's not competition. It's a loving space. Everyone's so helpful. Everyone's supportive and encouraging. And I remember when, my mom passed, and I, took a break, and I came back and I said, sorry, it's been taking a while to get it back into it. And I remember the words that I read on that screen, like, yeah, it's a wonderful, supportive space.
I'm really glad to hear that.
It is.
I'm really glad to hear that. I think that's probably one of the most surprising things from what I have heard anyway, in all my conversations, is that people are shocked at the community.
Yes.
And it was like the most pleasant surprise. And I'm so thankful for that. And I'm thankful for you, because you are part of the reason why our community is so special. Thank you. Everybody, and just your heart and your attitude, and your love for photography, and your love for other people. Like that's what makes this group, I think, just stand out. And so thank you for being part of it. And thank you for being an encourager. And just thank you for showing up, because it's
having me. And to be honest, thank you for bringing everyone together. Thank you for having this wonderful group, and for, allowing this space for everyone.
Good. Well, I'm glad it's been so helpful for you. And we just genuinely, truly cannot wait to see, your business. It's just been the end of February. We're in April now at the time of the recording, but just in a few months from now. And I can't wait to see that post whenever you say you're quitting your 9-to-5.
Yay. Until the day comes.
Until the day comes. We're going to keep working. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep fighting for it. So thank you so much for joining us today. It was just such a pleasure talking to you and hearing your story and all of the advice that you have for our students in grad. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, you guys, I'll see you back here next time for another episode of the Pretty Focus Podcast.